Hello, good morning, BBS students. Today we discuss about black table is still there. This is the essay from uh, uh, Patterns for College Writing. This essay is written by an American black writer, American African writer, Lawrence Otis Graham. In this essay, he wants to talk about he focuses on racism. How racism continues in America even after government declared that racism segregations is illegal. Okay, still it continues in American in public school. It is shown in this essay. The writer visits his junior high schools where he studied after 14 years and remembers his own days in the school. Okay, when the writer visits his schools where he studied his junior high schools 14 years before, now he remembers his own day. He goes to flashback. Okay. Yes, he remembers those days, when he studied in the schools. Yes, when he studied in his, high school, 14 years before, he, used to sit in a white table. There were white table, black and white table, kept in the cafeteria. During lunchtime, in the afternoon, he ran to the cafeteria and chose to sit on white table. He would avoid the black table because he thought if he choose the black table, then his white friends would be unhappy, and he thought he would be the cause of segregation. So he stood in favor of equality, in favor of integrations in the American society. So he always sat on the white table. Okay, there were black and white table kept in cafeteria in the public school. Okay, instead of sitting in black table, he used to sit in white table. Remember, he didn't sit in black table because he thought he would not be the cause of segregation. 14 years before, he when he was students of the school, he chose not to sit at black table. Even after 14 years, he finds the black table is still there. Remember, when he goes to his junior high school, where he studied, after 14 years, he still finds some black table still kept there, and he recalls his own days in the school. Every afternoon, the writer used to run quickly to get a seat at lunch table along with other white boys. He didn't want to sit in the black table because he wanted to see equality and integrations in the society. Remember, in the history of America, black people were discriminated, segregated, they were behaved discriminately. They were not treated as a human being. They were treated like animals. There were lots of prohibitions to them. They could not enter into public library. They could not walk with white children. They could not go to public place. Okay, they could not stay at the hotel and motel of America, where white people used to be there. Such discriminations was there in America several years ago. But now, in the government, the American government declared that such segregations and discriminations is unlawful. Okay, in the constitutions of America, there was written equality. Lots of laws were made, were passed to give equality to the black people. Okay, but here in this essay we can see how American public school still continue the segregations and discriminations. This is not the issue of written matter. This is the issue of practical matters. Remember, unless the people are ready, mentally ready to give space for the integrations, such laws cannot be practical, cannot be materialized. They are just superficial. Let's read some lines. He didn't want to sit in the black table because he wanted to see equality and integrations in the society. He used to think that black children had kept themselves separate, so the white boys became racist. Brother and sister, in his junior high schools, there were lots of black children also. There were black and white children. Other black children used to sit in black chair, but he didn't choose to choose to sit in black table because he thought sitting in black table can be the cause of segregations. Okay, he wanted to integrate the society, integrate black and white. But remember, his friends, black friends, would sit in black table, and he thought, these black guys, these black boys were the cause of segregations and racism. Okay, they made the white boys racist. He thought, okay. He used to think that the black children had kept themselves separate. Black children used to sit in black chair, so he thought they segregated themselves. So white became racist. Okay, so he wanted to integrate black and white together. He has this consciousness. He used to think that the black children had kept themselves separate, so the white boys became racist. When his white friends told him not to come to group of white because other would feel uncomfortable, and when his white friends parents would pull their children from him, he still used to think that black children were responsible for the segregations. Of course, in the schools, he experienced some bitter behaviors from black from white friends and white friends' parents. Okay, some of his white friends told him not to come with their group because other friends would feel uncomfortable, other white friends, and some of the white friends parents pulled their children from him when they were walking together, and they pulled, and such behaviors were experienced by writer. Still, he thought this segregations was due to the black children. Racism was due to the black children, and they should not keep themselves away. If they kept themselves away, then white peoples would find it easy to make them away forever. Okay, so he didn't want to keep himself away. He blamed his own black friends for the racism and segregations. Okay, not to the white. Till now, till now he blamed his own friends, black friends. Black children were responsible for the segregation, but after several years he realized that he had wrong conceptions regarding black children. But now after several years, why white friends and their parents would used to behave this way. Why, black and white, chairs were, tables were, kept in the, school area. He understood the meaning of it. Okay, when he was a small boy, he didn't have any idea. He didn't understand the reasons behind keeping these tables. At that time, he even had not understood the meaning of white and black tables kept in the schools. But now he realized the fact after it. Now he understood that color difference was the cause of this discrimination. Now remember, there were kept black and white chairs, chairs and tables in the schools. It means segregation. Still continuations of segregations. This is the cause of discriminations. Still, black people are discriminated. Were discriminated in America even after the government declared equality and integrations. Remember. Various laws made for the integrations and equality for black and white in America. Yes, various laws. Laws means canon. Various laws were passed in order to eradicate, in order to finish the segregations and discriminations in America. Okay, but these laws are superficial. If we talk about the American public schools, American public school, continued segregations to them. Black, children, till 1970s, even after long time of the laws, were passed by American government. They were just in superficial. There are some historical facts. Since 1950s, the American government strictly supported integrations of public schools. Yes. Since 1950s, 1950 को दशकदेखि नै अमेरिकन गभर्नमेन्टले अमेरिकन सार्वजनिक स्कुलहरूमा कुनै पनि भेदभाव हुनु हुँदैन, सेग्रिगेसन्स हुनु हुँदैन भनेर डिक्लेयर गरिसकेका थिए अनि सुप्रिम कोर्टले पनि यो अनाउन्स गरिसकेका थियो. तर स्टिल you can see how still even after 14 years when the writer goes to his school where he studied his junior high school, still black table are there. There is little change. There is no change at all. Okay, still there is discriminations. Okay, in the 1954 Supreme Court declared segregation is unconstitutional. अनि भेदभाव गरेपछि यो कानुनी रूपमा दण्डनीय हुनेछ भनेर 1954 मा अमेरिकन चाहिँ अनि सुप्रिम कोर्टले सर्वोच्च अदालतले घोषणा गरेको थियो. तर स्टिल there is segregations, discriminations in American public school. We can find it easily. Okay, yeah. So in this way, the essay shows how discriminations and segregations continues in American public schools even after various laws were made to make integrations and equality, to give equality to them, American black people and their children. Now, this is much about this essay. Okay, thank you for watching patiently. I will soon come back in taking next video of another chapter. Yes, till then, have a nice day. Thank you very much.